DC, where today we're going to take you inside the largest presidential memorial here in the nation's capital. Now, if you look just behind me, that's Virginia, that's Roslyn. Over to your left here, you see Georgetown. We have planes flying overhead you'll hear occasionally because Washington, D.C.'s airport is right over there. And right behind us, right here, this is 88 acres for Theodore Island, which is Theodore Roosevelt Island. I'm joined here by Jennifer with National Park Services, who's going to take us on a quick tour of the nation's largest presidential memorial. Now, you'd think that that would be on the National Mall.
You would think so, absolutely.
But it's in the middle of the Potomac River.
It is. Theodore Roosevelt, after all, is known as the 26th president, as our conservation president, because of his efforts in preserving land and conservation of our natural resources, that it seemed appropriate to put his memorial in nature.
In nature. We're going to take you on a quick little nature safari walk through the island and show you his memorial as well. Now, as you walk, this is a little footbridge you guys put in Potomac underneath us.
In 1979, the bridge was built, and yes, this is indeed the Potomac River right underneath us.
How did people get here before that, though? Because the island was actually dedicated to him much earlier than 1979.
There was actually
This end. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the backstory? How did this island get selected for his memorial? Because all the other presidents are over there on the National Mall that have their memorials. Why was his separated out in this way?
Well, like I said, he is our conservation president. Theodore Roosevelt, shortly after he died in 1919, the Memorial Association wanted to get on the ball. They wanted to start raising money right away to get his memorial started. And they first considered the land where the Jefferson Memorial is right now.
That makes that nice triangle with the Capitol and the Washington Monument and Lincoln right there.
It does. And in fact, they wanted that land so badly that they wrote a booklet and submitted it to Congress.
And just to pause you right there, you guys can't see it, but we have planes flying overhead because Washington, D.C.A. Reagan Airport is just that way, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be hearing those airplanes kind of throughout this. But when those airplanes aren't passing,
pure solace, quiet, it's a respite.
So going back, you said that they did this booklet and they wanted to
convince the government that this was a really important site and that Theodore Roosevelt was deserving of this site. And they did such a good job that the government decided, wow, this really is an important site, that Theodore Roosevelt just died a couple of years ago. And we don't even have a memorial to Thomas Jefferson.
They're like, hey, hold up, this is way too nice of a spot for somebody who just died.
So the booklet did its job.
So then they gave that spot.
They gave that spot to Thomas Jefferson. So later on, this island happened to be owned by Washington Gas Electric at the time. And
let's just say, well, we got a car behind us. Let's just look at for a second before we walk in.
Sure. This is the best part.
Beautiful, silent, peaceful, and then as you walk up this path here. So it was owned by Washington Gas Electric.
Yes. And they wanted to clear everything they wanted to build gas tanks and they wanted to put industrial buildings out here, and this was just something that couldn't be done.
Couldn't be done because you'd have that eyesore in the middle of the Potomac?
Absolutely. This is a beautiful patch of nature.
Yes.
So, the Roosevelt Association purchased this land in 1931 and then gave it to the federal government. In 1932, the architectural firm of Frederick Law Olmsted Jr., he came out with the Civilian Conservation Corps and was given the task of bringing this island back to the way it was before men stepped foot on it.
Which would have been
5,000 to 10,000 years ago.
And is it that way now, or?
Well, hard to say since I wasn't there, but yeah,
so
I believe so.
So this is kind of, if we just look straight ahead as you walk in, there is the memorial. Most people don't even realize, I lived in DC for 6 years. I only visited this island in the last 3 months.
Oh my.
Is that kind of the response you get from most people, that they don't even know this exists?
I get that quite a bit. People will come out and they are just in awe that this is here in the middle of DC, in the middle of the nation's capital, the rat race, all of that stuff. Now they can get away for just a few moments to just enjoy nature, just as Theodore Roosevelt did.
But this memorial too, you have this amazing statue here. You have the quote, kind of goes along with the themes of a lot of the other memorials you'll see here in DC. And it's just breathtaking.
Absolutely.
Here guys, let's take a look at this. This statue here is, you'll get a sense as we get closer just how big this is.
He's 18 foot tall.
18 feet tall.
And the stele behind him is 30 feet tall.
Wow.
And of course he's in his strong speaking pose.
That quiet right there is really what you get from this island. So there he is, the conservation president. And he's actually the guy responsible for you're celebrating your 100th birthday.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, National Park Services. And it all kind of become because of him.
Yes, absolutely.
What role, explain for our viewers, what role he played in National Park Services establishment and conservation?
Okay, well, he was born to love nature. He loved nature from the time he was a young kid, and he was the consummate outdoorsman. He was an outdoorsman, a huntsman, a hiker. He was a taxidermist, an ornithologist, a politician, an author.
Kind of a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, a Renaissance man. And he, shortly after Valentine's Day, his first wife, had a daughter named Alice. Now, on that same day, not only his wife passed away from complications from childbirth, but his mother did as well. And with that heartbreak, he headed out to the Dakota Territories. And there, firsthand, he saw the decimation of natural resources. The transatlantic railroad was already built, but westward expansion, manifest destiny, all of those, he saw firsthand how they are contributing to the decimation of natural resources, particularly the bison. In fact, before 1850, you could go out and see a whole sea of brown fur on the Great Plains.
So is that something that he was kind of used to having, is going out and seeing that, and suddenly he went out and that wasn't there?
Yes. By 1884, there were less than 325 bison in the country, and 25 of those were in Yellowstone.
And we have to also point out the bison was just named the national mammal of the United States. So
he sees this decimation of animals and of natural resources, and he believes thoroughly that future generations are going to judge us not by what we used, but what we wasted. And he believed that America should save these resources. They're not going to be here forever. So with the passing of the 1906 Antiquities Act, if we could explain what exactly that act entails. The 1906 Antiquities Act allowed Theodore Roosevelt and future presidents to put aside lands that are significant culturally, or not agriculturally, environmentally, scientifically significant, put those lands away under federal protection as national memorials. And with that came the first 18 national memorials to include Muir Woods and Grand Canyon. Now with that influence, you gotta be there.
This is nature and there are bees.
With that act and the 18 monuments and his push for using land, but conserving land at the same time. We're not just going to tuck it away and never look at it again. That is what pushed to the development of the National Park Service, which was, as we know, signed into presence August 25th. August 25th, 1960.
So tomorrow's your official birthday.
Absolutely.
We're gonna
100 years.
We're kind of celebrating it a little early here.
Yes.
So although this memorial is here, this island is 88 acres. So let's go on a little bit of a walk through some of this land here and give you guys a sense of exactly what you get when you come out to this. If you're just joining us on ABC, we are on Theodore Roosevelt Island, joined by National Park Services. This is the largest presidential memorial in Washington, D.C. It's not over there in the National Mall, it's not by the Capitol, it's in the middle of the Potomac Ocean. So, Potomac River, not the ocean. So we're gonna go on a little bit of a walk and show you guys some of this.
Great with quotes from Theodore Roosevelt on nature.
at one of these while we walk. There is delight in the hardy life of the open. There are no words that can tell the hidden spirit of the wilderness, that can reveal its mysteries, its melancholy, and its charm. Well said.
Absolutely.
Let's go take a look at some of that melancholy and charm. So once you get over these little footbridges that make up this memorial, you're really in the middle of the woods.
Absolutely, you are. It is, like I've said before, if it wasn't for the airplanes every couple of minutes, you would not believe you're in Washington, D.C. And that was the purpose of the island. It was supposed to be an island of solace, a place of respite, a place where people could get away from that rat race of the city and just relax. Because nature healed Theodore Roosevelt in the Dakota Territory. He said that time in the Dakota Territory was critical in his decision to run for the President of the United States because he knew he could do something then.
So you have a couple of different trails on this island. One goes all the way around.
The most popular trail is our swamp trail. It's 1.3 miles long.
We're not going to take you guys on that entire 1.3 mile trail. Sorry, you have to come out here and enjoy it for yourself.
The swamp trail is awesome because you get to pass through a forest area. You'll pass through a swamp and a marsh, but no worries, we have a footbridge, so you won't get your shoes on you.
Always a concern.
Yes.
So this is one of your trails here?
Yes.
And the one that goes around the outside is the largest, but tell us about some of the others. How many do you have total?
We have the swamp trail, the upland trail, and the woods trail. And all the trails all together are about 3 miles.
How long?
About 3 miles.
3 miles. And on weekends, you'll see bikers, runners, all sorts of folks out here.
Many, many people enjoy the island. Sometimes you have to wait for a parking place, but we always say, just hang on a few minutes, somebody's going to leave. We have hundreds of people that come through to walk their dogs. Dogs love the island. You can just see the excitement. They're all happy jumping around.
Yeah. And it's really like, it's almost like you are in the middle of the woods out here. Mm-hmm. Take a look, guys. We're gonna you can hear the crickets. The occasional airplane. This really is just like a break from city life in DC, but we are so close to DC. Just how far away is it?
Just how far away is DC?
Yeah, we're like right on the river here.
We're in the district.
We're in the district.
You park in Virginia and we're in the district.
You park in Virginia, walk over that bridge, and you're in Washington, DC.
Yes.
But the city feeling of DC is so far away,
yes.
And it's only a quarter mile further?
If that, yes.
If that.
It's not a surprise to come out here and see deer. There are raccoons out here, snakes, of course, non-venomous.
Do you guys go through and just check on all of the wildlife?
We have a natural resources team, I believe, that takes care of that. But anytime rangers come out, we keep an eye on things, just to make sure everything is good. And we spot animals. There are 175 types of birds visit this island.
175?
Yep, species. Anything from the peregrine falcon to your basic swallow, the red-winged blackbird, and Theodore Roosevelt was a huge ornithologist. He absolutely adored birds. In fact, when he was president, he made it a law that you could not use bird skin or feathers in clothing or hats. He felt that the feathers looked better on the birds than on people.
But he was quite the hunter, though, so it's a little ironic in a way.
Yes. He only hunted what would be used by himself, of course, for food or for research, for scientific studies. Many of his big game that he went to Africa and captured came back to the United States. You'll see it in the Museum of Natural History down on the National Mall. You'll also see some in the American Museum of Natural History in New York City.
Ones that he personally got himself.
Ones he personally got himself. He, like I said, he believed in not killing just for the killing of it. In fact, one time while hunting in Arkansas, the story goes that all of his companions had shot a bear. They were bear hunting, and Theodore Roosevelt had not shot one. So his partners brought a bear to him, tied up, and he refused to shoot it. It's kind of cool. Legend says a baby bear, but you'll also read an elderly bear. But he refused to shoot that bear because it was unsportsmanlike. That was not the way things were done. And he refused to shoot the bear. And a toy company got wind of that, and that is how we have the teddy bear.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, so he's not only responsible for bringing you the nature preserve, but he's responsible for giving us the teddy bear.
Absolutely. Yes.
Very nice. So what is one thing, you take these nature tours out here on weekends and you take people around the island, what is one thing you really want them to know about this place?
I want them to know that even in the big city, that we are still aware of our natural resources. The Park Service is still taking care of our resources, and we want people to, want people to be able to come out here and just relax, get away from the city, just enjoy nature, let its healing help you, as it did with Theodore Roosevelt. But we want people to also to understand that we need to protect places like this. They're not going to be here forever. So in the tradition of our conservation president, we like to think that he would like this place.
And you actually don't know though if he's ever been to this particular island.
I don't.
He did go picnicking a lot, we're told, but
his daughter recalls going picnicking quite a bit with his family in the Columbia area. But the Columbia Athletic Club rented this. The Columbia Athletic Club rented this spot for years, and he promoted what they promoted as the manly sports. But we had
what are the manly sports?
The art of manly sports.
Oh, okay.
That would have been running and boating and calisthenics.
Okay.
Boot camp type exercises.
Now every person's sports, that's for sure.
A world record for the 100-yard dash was set out here by the Columbia Athletic Club, 9 4 seconds. So he promoted the art of manly sports, but we have no proof that he ever set foot on this island. But I like to think he would have.
Definitely. So close to DC. If you guys have never been out here, if you're visiting Washington, DC, come out and check out the nation's largest President's Memorial. 88 acres in the middle of the Potomac River, where you can just have peace and quiet. We'll leave you with a little bit of that.